I know this is a lot of ranting, but fuck it, enjoy.
Well, it's a long-standing tradition at a high school in Indiana. Students vote on whether or not they want to have a prayer at graduation. Well, this...
For some reason, that just does not sound correct to me, because if you can just vote on if there's a prayer or not, then all you have to do is have the majority of the people in your school be religious. But then you have the question of, what if it's in like a Muslim kind of area, a lot of Muslims? Do you allow the Muslims, because there's a majority of them, to do some kind of Muslim prayer at their graduation? Do you allow that? Do you just ignore the fact that, you know, there are other kids of other religions or non-religion at the school? You're just going to say the majority, there's 51%, and they got the vote, and so therefore we're going to let them for whatever religion. Are you cool with that, or are you just pissed off because it's Christian? That's the reason it's become a story. But here, let's give you guys a chance.
Well, this year, the majority voted yes, they do want the prayer. But the valedictorian says absolutely no way and is now suing his school. We're joined now by Fox News religion correspondent Father Johnathan Morris and criminal defense attorney Jennifer Bonjean, who also does civil rights work as well. So thanks for being with us. Jennifer, I'll start with you because the majority of these students, they voted yes, they do want it, which is how a democracy works. But You're saying this violates the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Constitution.
That's right. Just because there's a majority vote doesn't mean you can violate the Constitution. You can't, NYPD can't have all of their officers vote that we can now beat suspects into giving confessions and then it's okay to do it. The Constitution's there for a reason, and it's precisely because the minority is not being protected, the minority voice is not being protected, that it is constitutional.
Father Johnathan, what do you think about this? It's tradition that the students take a vote.
Well, I did all that student government stuff, you know, high school, college, student government, and the prom is something that students plan. They choose their music, they choose their color scheme, they choose all these things. If students together decide they want to have a prayer, they should be allowed to have a prayer. Whether it's the student president who decides against, that's up to them.
Right.
But the principle of students being able to decide that they want to pray, now why wouldn't you go after them for choosing bad music? What if I feel totally offended that I don't believe in Led Zeppelin?
Because the Constitution doesn't actually protect your right.
Well, Jennifer, what does the Constitution say about religion? It says it shall not establish one religion over another, and there should be no law passed to prohibit the free exercise of religion.
Right.
Which just sounds to me like free exercise of religion.
Well, it protects. The Established Clause is meant to protect and secure religious liberty. The flip side of that is the right not to have to engage in an act of worship if somebody finds it personally offensive. It's meant to protect all of us. Now, would you have the same point of view? Would you have the same point of view if the student body said, you know what, we want to do an Islamic prayer?
Absolutely. If it's an Islamic community and if they decide together they want... Absolutely.
All right, the chick was doing all right, but then they kind of cut her off there. So let me fucking go into this a little bit. He's saying he's fine if it was a Muslim prayer. So he's doubly as retarded as we originally thought. Because he's not only saying that he's all right with, you know, making people that are of a different faith listen to him. Now he's saying that people of his own faith should be forced to listen to a Muslim prayer if the majority of the people at the school are Muslim. You're throwing them under the bus. They're about to get run over and you just throw them under the bus. You don't care about the freedom of religion, because if 49% of a school was Christian and 51 was Islamic, and so the Islamic prayer got said because they're the majority, it's the democracy you're talking about. Apparently you don't understand the difference between democracy and the Constitution and how those two things interact. You just don't understand that shit. So let me break it down for you, dumb shit. The Constitution says freedom of religion, okay? You can do whatever you want, but you cannot put that religion into the state. So you do what you want, but you can't make it at a public school. Now, I'm sure that at every Christian school at graduation, they do a fucking prayer. Now, does anyone get on their ass about it? No. No, dumb fuck, no. Do you see how this is going? Nobody's getting on your ass about it. Nobody's saying you can't do the prayer. And why can't these fucking kids at the graduation, if all the ones that want to pray, pray before, pray after, pray during, but to yourself? What is so important about making everyone else listen to your bullshit? I just do not understand this. You must pray aloud to the, you know, during the main graduation, or else what? God won't hear it? How retarded are you fucks? I mean, it just blows my mind that you guys can believe all the stupid bullshit, ignore all the fucking facts, and still want to, like, I don't know, push this shit down our throats. Like, oh, I don't know, a couple hundred years ago, that shit didn't already get put in its place by our founding fathers. But no, you'll ignore that. You'll say this is a Christian nation. Bitch, if this was a Christian nation, abortion wouldn't be legal.
Let me ask you this. Why is it in this situation, and in many situations we've seen and we've covered here at Fox News, that there is one student who has a problem with it and everyone else is punished when the majority wants...
Apparently this bitch doesn't understand what the Constitution stands for either, because she's convinced that if the majority wants something, then that's what should be done. If the majority of Christians want this just to be Christian nation, no more freedom of religion, we should just totally, you know, take away your freedom of religion, because that's what the majority wants. It's not what America stands for. I can't believe these motherfuckers call themselves patriots. They call themselves Americans. They have the balls to put the American flag in the background of their fucking scenes and all that shit. And then they go about things in such a fucking totalitarian way. It's not democracy. Democracy is voting people into office, okay? That's how democracy works. It's not like, oh, well, everyone, you know, wants to vote on whether we should... put slavery back in there. Okay, no, we made an amendment already to the Constitution. No more slavery, okay, got it? Even the Constitution was not perfect, but it was meant to be a living document. It was not meant to just be dead. I love how they're constantly, people like Glenn Beck are constantly talking about, oh, no, we have to, our founding fathers, and the founding fathers were smart enough to know that that document, as it was written, could not last forever. Shit would change, and shit had to be able to, you know, be changed in it in the future, or otherwise it would become obsolete. So what did they do? They made it so you could put amendments in the motherfucking thing. All kinds of great amendments, like, oh, I don't know, abolishing slavery and giving women the right to vote. Shit like that, you know? Progressing. I know, progressive's a scary thing to all these Fox viewers. Just frustrating.
Well, first of all, it's not clear that it's one student who's punished. That is.
But it is clear that the majority did.
The majority, because, like I said before, that's precisely the problem. In a recent U.S. Supreme Court decision that came down in 2000, it was almost an identical policy that was struck down as unconstitutional, violative of the Establishment Clause. And the one thing the U.S. Supreme Court said is that the minority is at the mercy of the majority. That's the problem with it, because those people should not have to choose whether to attend their graduation or run the risk of being personally offended by a religious ritual. Could they compromise here? Could they do something like a moment of silence or something like that? Well, you know, that gets a little closer, but this is really patently unconstitutional because they're not even proclaiming that it has a secular purpose.
You know, I don't, and this is a sincere question. I know you do civil liberties law. Why do people get so offended when they hear a prayer? Why do they feel like somehow they are being forced to worship? I mean, I have people in my church who sit there all the time, kids who are not being forced to worship. They're there, they're listening.
You gotta go.
Did this dumb fuck actually just say that parents bring their kids to church and that the kids are not forced to be there and listen? Like, if the kids, just want to get up and walk out, or just talk, or just play or something, their parents aren't going to scold them? Like, they're not being forced to be there? You tell me any fucking 6, 7, 8-year-old, 4-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old that wants to be at fucking church. I mean, come on, man. It's fucking ridiculous. It's the kind of retardation that you would expect from people like this, from people that wouldn't understand. They're like, why is it that people get so offended when they hear a prayer? Well, I don't know. Why is it that Christians are so offended by Muslims? They're like, those Muslims, they believe crazy shit, but not us. But you guys would get offended if it was a Muslim fucking prayer. You would. You say you wouldn't, but people would flip the fuck out if it was a Muslim thing. Here's another question. Why do you get so offended that we don't want to listen to you pray? Is it all of a sudden about we have to know you're praying? We have to listen to it, or you'll get offended? It's a double-edged sword, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't understand. I don't understand people's personal views on it, but I know what the Constitution says.
We're going to send him home to get some sleep. We're going to send him home to get some sleep. We're going to send him home to get some sleep. We're going to send him home to get some sleep. He set his iPhone up an hour ahead to spring forward.
And it moved
when the phone did that automatically.
Yes,
so 2
I got
hours
here
ahead
very early.
We're glad you're here. Thank you, Jennifer. Good job.
And that's not even the stupidest thing he did today. I mean, what do you expect from this guy? He's a self-poner. He literally puts himself out there to be fucking picked on. I'll include a link right here to him talking about when the plane went down in the Hudson. They called it the Hudson River Miracle. Yeah, I'll put the video link right here to my video on that. I think it was Fuck Fox News number 11. But check that shit out. Cocktopus out.